Hey everyone, this is a video to serve as a visual aid, maybe to better explain what this signal logic configuration is doing. So here we made a completely automated lighting function using signals that respond when a player moves into and out of an area. This way there's no need to remember to open your control panel for a switch or to flip a lever when you want to work with something, and again when you're done working with it. For this simple demonstration, we want to power on a blue greeting light when we approach the bridge of the vessel. We also want to switch to a separate light when we occupy the chair to pilot the vessel. And finally, we want to power off both of these lights when we leave the bridge. So let me go ahead and run through it. Here we're going to step up to the bridge. It's going to open the door. See the blue light. We're going to sit down. Here we have the red light that comes on. Stand up. The blue light goes on. The red light goes off. I'm going to leave, and both lights should turn off. Okay. So how did we do this? We used, let me go ahead and toss this up too. We used two sensors, a blue light and a red light. And here's my little circuit, some information behind those. I want to point out that the names of these things don't matter. Like if I rename this to whatever, it doesn't matter. They don't worry too much about the names. It's just for our own purposes here. But the signal logic is what matters. So in this, we used there's two motion sensors. I named them sensor enter, sensor exit. Sensor enter. Take a look at its box. It is inside of the cockpit, the bridge, and it encompasses the bridge. And then we are going to look at exit of that. We're going to look at the exit. So now the exit is actually right outside the bridge. They're actually butting. So there's no there's no an overlap. But it prevents that red light from coming back on as I leave. It leaves the blue light, they all go off at once. Anyway, so that's my two motion sensors. Through these motion sensors, I'm able to throw signals that are going to change the red light. I guess I'll just name that red light. And the blue light. So let's take a look at the signal logic here. The blue light's a very simple one. It's following the same motion sensor that's in the room. When it fires off, it throws a signal to the blue light saying turn on. And when you sit down, you're technically not in the area of the motion sensor anymore, so it simply turns that off. The red light, on the other hand, is it requires a couple of these little things to function correctly. Now I could, if I go here, see lights, I'll put on lights here. I could assign red lights to that lights, custom lights, and just put it to an invert. Same with the blue, I'll assign them both. Now they're both assigned. Now if I use the switch here, I can just flip them, and they'll switch off depending. So it's one signal with two different outputs, basically. But that prevents me turning it off. So I can't turn it off as long as that works that way. I could obviously go back into the devices. I could pick red, or blue in this case. This is one that's active, and turn it off. Now both lights are off. That's a little more task, more involvement than we want to go with. So turn all this back off. Reassign these. Red light. Enter. Watch. May I do it again? No, good. Jump out of the area. All right. Well, seems to be active. Oh, because I have to do that. Alright, everything's functioning correct. Actually that. So this here is an inverter. And it works very similar to this inverter that we have for the circuit. But there's one distinct difference between them. With this inverter, I'm creating a signal that I can then throw a condition against. In fact, these actually should be switched here. Doesn't really matter, it's a presentation. Okay, so with this same motion, I'm coming in here, I'm saying motion's on. Well, when motion's on, I want red flipped, so red's off. When I'm not in the area, this will be off, this turns on. So as long as this is on and the primary, which I'll go into, is on, then the red light will go on. But this inverter, I was able to pass an additional condition against it in order to turn the red light on. This one you can't do anything with. Once it's a simple inverter. of a simple flip. So you use it like we did just then, and it'll totally take a signal and says when that signal's off, turn another signal on. But you never actually get a name for that signal. It's just kind of a, generic inherited type of inverter signal. So I typically don't use these. I guess in some cases I'll use them. But I will try to assign. I'm doing some type of signal logic. I will try to assign a new inverter to it, just so that I know that when I'm turning a signal on, I can then manipulate that signal with other signals to get my desired result. So you can just leave it as follow, forget that, and just create a new signal. All right, so how did I get that red signal? So because of that, because I want the lights to turn off as I enter, I had to create a new signal. And in this signal, which I named the exit signal, it works very much like a lever, like this, in the sense that once the switch is on, it's on. When it's off, it's off. It's a toggle, right? It's not like the other ones. As soon as I leave this area, I still that switch is still on. Well, in fact, let me show you the demonstration. I'm going to God mode. So I came to this area, I flipped on this new toggle signal. New toggle signal is on indefinitely until I approach this area again and turn it off. So it works as a toggle. And the condition is with the latch, with this whole reset latch, condition is this turns on the signal, this turns off the signal, this is the signal. So this area here, the enter signal was this motion sensor. When I entered, it turned on this signal. When I passed into this area, this other motion sensor, it turns back off that signal. Because of that, I'm able to take this this toggle signal and pair it with the flip and say that when both are on, the red light could be on. And that was necessary because otherwise, when you're sitting down here, there's no enter signal. So I wouldn't be able to throw a signal. That's kind of how that works. That's pretty much the jab of that. It's not